also think that Christians have this weird relationship when it comes to talking about money. I think that a lot of us grew up thinking that it was really cool and godlike to be poor, to not necessarily want money, to not necessarily want to be wealthy. I think a lot of us grew up, and maybe not our generation, but I know like my grandmother and them, like it was cool to be like a Mother Teresa, to live among the poor and to not have a whole lot. And I think that that is possibly an inaccurate view. I don't believe that God wants us to be poor. How? Like, I don't know if that makes sense to me when he has houses and land and everything belongs to him, but he wants you to be poor. I don't believe that. And so I just think that a lot of Christians have a weird relationship when it comes to the talk about money, which is why this also triggered a lot of that when B. Simone came out with talking about $1 trillion versus Jesus.
Thank you. Okay, then. Thank you very much.
If I could add to that, Dr. Charm, it's so funny that you say that, Dr. Felice, because I went to a Catholic university. I went to we are the only Black Catholic school in the Western Hemisphere, Xavier University of Louisiana. And one of the things that we always had to do was we had to take theology classes, philosophy classes. Those last 2 years were just hardcore. And that came up a lot in theology. And it really changed the way that I thought about religion. I mean, if we can get into a religious conversation, and it really about like, I was like, well, then why are we here? A lot of times we would have that exact question. And I'd be like, okay, well, why am I paying $40,000 a year to be here? Right? If we could, like, that feels like if Jesus was, of the people and with the people and, sat with the poor, right? Like, obviously this is not that, right? He wouldn't have been here so in college, I'll say this. And Anonymous is saying in the chat, like, asking, how do we even know if Jesus is real? What's interesting is and I'll just say this. When I was in college, I will not lie, I just opened my mind. Like, I think I studied Buddhism for a little while. Like, I just went on a 2-year hiatus from Christianity, and I studied everything. I read the Quran. I did all the things. I studied Buddhism. I even like looked at the stars and the moon and the zeitgeist and all of that. I did all of it because I wanted to understand. One of the things that Black people can't say is that we were always introduced to Jesus. Like, our slave masters introduced us to Jesus. I don't think that was our regular. I don't think it was our regular thing. I don't think we praise God like that. Like, what our slave masters gave us was the Bible and Jesus. And so for me, I went back and I just kind of, I really like studied everything, and it brought me back. Obviously, I'm back on the boat, but like I think I had to go through that and just like look at all of it. Says like, just make sure you're being a good human being. That's what I got from religion. It was always like,
And
go ahead.
Can I
Yes.
and because a lot of people think that because of our journey here to America and they introduce Christianity to us, but if you go further back, and I've listened to Black theologians who got their PhDs in religion, it was us who introduced Christ to Caucasians. We always knew Christ.